came from a family full of artists. I took after my dad. We struggled drawing stick figures. So I picked up a camera and went, "Ooh, I love doing that." After I left school in Melbourne and came up to the Gold Coast, Dad is a private investigator, so I joined the family business and started shooting. Became more interested in it, started to study it. I then got out of the family business. I ended up at Conrad Jupiter's. So for many years during the 90s, I ran Fortune's nightclub. During that time, Conrad were nice enough to sponsor me through a master's degree. Finished my MBA in 1999. Unfortunately, for some unknown reason, Conrad Jupiter's didn't have a job for me at that stage and said, "Well, hey, can you wait for 8 or 9 months?" So I said, "Well, I'm going to go and wait in Japan for a year." So that year turned into 7. I went there in 2000 and 2002. The digital age started to happen and it became more normal for professional photographers to have digital cameras. So I bought a waterproof digital camera and someone said, "Can you shoot some surf photos of me?" And I went, "Okay, probably." So I did that. He built me a website and I went, "Okay, now I'm japansurfphotos.com." So my theory was I would go down to the beach, shoot lots of photos of everybody surfing, and obviously in Japan there are lots of surfers in the water, and then put them on the website. People would come to the website and buy images of themselves surfing. Towards the end of my time there, I started to feel a bit sick, and obviously I'd been reasonably fit doing surf photos, but I just started to feel lethargic and apathetic and no energy, etc., etc. So I don't know, I kind of had this sense that there was something wrong with me, and I'd been to doctors over there and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And I said to my new wife, "I'm just not feeling good. I think we should go back home." Got progressively sicker and they diagnosed me with throat cancer. So then I started down that journey. You just got to do what you need to do, which in my case was radiation therapy. You go through the process, and that's a fairly invasive sort of a process. You get pretty sick. I lost a lot of weight. The first thing that they did was take most of my teeth out, which was not a pleasant experience either. Then they have to wait for the holes in your mouth to heal, and then they can start the chemotherapy and the radiation. I went from 85 kilos down to about 62 kilos. Never really felt like I was going to die. I think that was important from a psychological perspective. You struggle on and you just do what they tell you to do, and you put up with the sickness and all the rest of it, and you pop out the other end and the doctor sticks a camera up your nose and down your throat and says, "Mate, you're all good to go." When you lie on your back for so long and consider your own demise, you pop up and go, "Okay, I don't want to spend 10 minutes doing stuff that you don't want to do, because you just don't know how long you've got. You've got to try and make every day special and every day positive, and you've got to have a good attitude, I think, about life and about the people around you, and try and hang out with positive people and people that are going to lift you up." So that was it. So then I obviously decided that all I wanted to do was take pictures. So Brad K Photographics was born out of that. Not having any money, you've got to have a job, which I had a 9 to 5 office job, and then would get home at 5:30 and just put my head down and my bum up and start working. And then weekends were just spent websiting and studying and working out, how to get better as a photographer. Eventually you get to the point where you just really got to take a bit of a punt and go, "All right, well, I'm just going to go full time and see what happens." I don't think you can ever really afford it. You got to do it and see what happens, I think that's kind of the best way to do it. You have a bit of a plan, and then finding something that you're really passionate about, because if you're passionate about something, it's easier to work through the stuff that you don't really want to do. And if you run a small business, there's lots of stuff that you don't really want to do. I love that transition where I take somebody that fears coming into the studio almost as much as going to the dentist. When they leave, they're quite ecstatic with, obviously, the images that they've got, the new skills that they've got, and they've had a bit of fun. My wave art is something. I've always been a bit of a surfer and hung out around the beach. I've lived on the Gold Coast for 35 years odd. Even as a teenager growing up in the middle of Melbourne City, I had surf posters all over my wall. So when I came back to the Gold Coast, I started to shoot more just waves. You know, we've got some of the most amazing beaches and waves in the world, so that's a massive passion. Being able to be as sick as I was and recover and bounce back from that, and then build a business from scratch, which is no mean feat, I think, in this day and age, in the middle of a GFC with no money. But I think most proud of my kids. I think the boys are just awesome. They're so very cool. And I think just being able to live each day and live it and do what you want to do, I think that's an important part. I've found what I'm really passionate about, so then it's just working out how to keep it relevant so that I can keep doing it.